realtor.org. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, I'm all about teaching you everything there is to know about Hawaii and its real estate, but you can't find in the listing. And today, it's just time for another Maui fix. And let's talk about short-term vacation rentals, because pretty soon, if you want to come to Maui, you might just have to stay in a hotel. Isn't that wild? In case you missed the big announcement last week. Matter of fact, hey, by the way, the sun just went down. We just missed it. Sorry about that. But we could get that afterglow. Hoping, anyway. We'll see. But if you missed the big announcement, last week, Mayor Bisson came out and said that he intends to tell Maui County Planning and the Maui Council to ban all short-term vacation rentals that are on what's called the Minatoya list, that are apartment-zoned condos, which is about 7,000 units, on the west side of Maui by July of 2025. So a little bit over a year. And then after that, by January of 2026, the rest of the condos on the south side of Maui. Because most of the vacation rental condos that are apartment zoned are on the leeward side. Quite frankly, all of them are basically on the leeward side versus the windward side. But what does that mean? What that means is there's a chance, an outside chance, if it gets through all the legal battles, that the only place you'll be able to stay when you come to Maui will be a hotel or a condominium that's zoned hotel. The long-term impacts of that, the short-term impacts of that on the real estate market, very difficult to say. However, I do believe that it makes absolutely zero sense. And the reason for that, zero sense, is because the purpose of doing this, according to the mayor, is to create more housing for the local people, right? So the people that live here have a place to live. But unfortunately, none of those buildings, those apartments, were built for long-term residents. So there was a few, maybe workforce housing, long time ago when they were building the Sheraton. A long time ago they built a few of them, but they were usually on the other side of the lower road, off the ocean. These apartments, these condos, I should say, that are apartment zoned, were initially built as vacation rental condos. That's evidenced by the fact that they only have like one assigned parking spot, even if it's a 2 or a 3 bedroom. Also that there's very limited storage. And let's face it, if the average cost of a condominium on Maui right now is 1.1 million, let's just say hypothetically the market dropped and they were now half the price, right? Which that could technically happen. There could be a huge sell-off and then the prices drop in half. Let's just say that happens hypothetically. So now a 1-bedroom condo costs, say, $550,000 or $600,000. Is that something that a local family could afford? And or would they want to buy a 1-bedroom condo for $500,000-$600,000 on top of the taxes and the HOA fees? Does that create an affordable housing solution? The answer, of course, is no, it does not. But what it does do, essentially, is drop 40% of the tax base. So 40% of the tax base, because these condos bring in, not just property taxes at a 1% tax rate, they also bring in 17% when someone stays in there, because there's a 4.5% GET and there's a TAT, transient accommodation tax, that adds up to 17%. So a huge tax base is just going to go completely away. Not to mention all the economic jobs that depend on these short-term vacation rentals. So the handymen, the cleaners, the management companies, the list goes on and on. Not to mention those 7,000 units represent at least 14,000 people that come here on vacation, right, on any given time. Now those people won't be able to stay in those vacation rental condos. They'll have to go stay in a hotel, and there's only so many hotels, so there'll be a very limited supply of places to stay, thus pushing up the cost of accommodations on Maui even higher than they are today, which means less visitors will come here. So can you see sort of the downward economic spiral that this could cause? Not to mention the devaluation of the condo market to a point where the only people that would truly be still buying these condos would be people that are from the mainland or other parts of the world that want to just have a second home on Maui, and maybe they just let their friends and family stay in it and take a little money under the table, which is of course totally legal, versus putting on Airbnb and VRBO. So In my opinion, this is just a way to possibly make lahaina strong happy. They're just kind of putting it out there like, yeah, okay, all right, we'll ban them. But in the end, they know that it'll never happen, or there'll be too much legal battle for that to occur. So I think it's really just kind of political posturing, and it doesn't even make any sense whatsoever in terms of opening up more housing for the locals, for the displaced fire victims. And also, think about this. This would not take effect until the beginning of 2025, which is a long way away. The summer of 2025, so over a year away. We have 1,800 residents that are still living in hotels, and FEMA's getting ready to go away. So in a year, that's not a workable solution for the near term, and I don't even think it creates more long-term housing either. You know what I mean? Because they're not affordable, and they were never designed to be long-term housing. So anyway, that is sort of a long Maui Fix explanation of what's going on. In the comments, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And of course, there's going to be input, as this goes before the county council, and there'll be an opportunity for people to give testimony, which of course I'm sure they will just ignore. But I don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell this is ever going to make it to an actual repeal of the Minatoya law. In case you don't know what the Minatoya law is, I believe there was an attack on these vacation rentals. There always has been since the beginning of time. So there was this list called the Minatoya list. Minatoya was general counsel for the county of Maui. He created a list of all the vacation rentals that just leave them alone. It's okay. They've been doing it since 1965, 72, 76. That's what they were designed for. So he made a list called the Minatoya list. And those were the apartment zoned vacation rentals that could continue to do what they've been doing since they were built. Then Mayor Arakawa put the Minatoya list, codified it as law, which says, hey, these are the condos that you can do vacation rentals in, leave them alone. And now they're asking, the mayor is going to tell the county council and the Maui County Planning Commission to repeal the Minatoya list. So anyway, that's the latest news. I think it's probably one of the biggest bombshell real estate news items that I've ever come across in my 12 years of selling real estate here. I have a hard time believing it will happen just because of the massive economic impact on the local economy, the disruption to the real estate market, and the fact that it will not even open up any additional housing, which is why they're saying they would want to do this. I don't see how this would open up additional housing for the locals. So at any rate, that's the long and short of it. If you haven't seen the video of the announcement, I will put a link in the description. And I will also, my recommendation, by the way, is if you are in the market for a condominium on Maui, the answer is you could still buy a hotel zoned one. So there's two types of zonings. There's A1 and A2, which is apartment, which is the Minatoya list, which is under attack, about 7,000 units that could technically possibly lose their right to do vacation rentals. But the balance of them are hotel zone. For example, Valley Isle, hotel zone, Hololani, hotel zone, Kanapali Shores, hotel zoned. So there are many condos on Maui that are hotel zoned. So if you purchase one of those, that will never come under any kind of scrutiny. So at some point in time, I will create a web page, a landing page with all of those condos on there in case you want to shop those. But in the meantime, I would say that the apartment zoned condominiums could see some price disruption. So it'll be interesting to see, because so far, in my experience, the real estate market on Maui has been like immovable in terms of deflation or losing value. It has been a consistent climb every month, every year. COVID, fire, doesn't matter. It seems to be an incredibly elastic market. They've never gone down in value. So it'll be interesting to see if this will move the needle down. I don't think it will, because quite frankly, let's face it, Maui, no kauoi, right? Yeah, good luck. Everybody wants to be here, and the values of the real estate prove it out. And I think people that own that type of a condominium have got staying power. Just like during COVID, they didn't all just buck and run. They didn't all get scared, right? Ah! They were strong. They held steady. They kept the faith. And I think the same thing's going to happen now. So good luck, government, trying to shake the spirit of the American people and the strong American and foreign investment that's come into this island. They know what they're doing, they know their rights, they know the law, they will fight you, and what you're proposing does not even solve the problem that you're that you should be solving, which is affordable housing. You should have been dealing with affordable housing for the last 20, 30 years, but you haven't. And the irony is $35 million was just awarded to Paul Chang to create affordable housing, and that hasn't happened either. So interesting how that is. Let's give our affordable housing dollars to a convicted felon in Texas. And we still don't have any affordable housing. So anyway, that's all I got. That was kind of a long monologue, but the beautiful sunset in the background, can't complain. The waves lapping up, a little Maui fix for you. But I didn't want another day to go by without talking a little bit about one of the most bombshell announcements that has happened in recent history here as it pertains to vacation rentals on Maui, and yet another government overreach, another government complete, duh, you know what I mean? You can't invent this stuff, man. You really can't. These people are nuts. Makes absolutely no economic sense, and if anything, it will create economic destruction at the next level. Bad enough we had COVID, bad enough we had the fire, and now we have to have ridiculous threat of government policy, just as bad as trying to overreach the shoreline and not allowing people to fix their seawall. So hopefully there's going to be a revolution of a new electorate coming in November. Hopefully we'll get people that have common sense, that are smart, and can actually solve problems as opposed to creating more. What a concept. All right, guys. It can't get any worse, right? It just can't. Tell me it's over. Tell me it can't get any worse. It's not going to get worse, right? It's going to get better. All right, guys. Until next time. Hope you enjoyed this little rant on Maui short-term vacation rentals. It's still Maui. It's still beautiful, and it's never going to change. Best lifestyle on earth. And if you guys have any questions, I'd love to answer them best I can. Feel free to reach out anytime. Until next time, Eric West, I shall return. I don't know where, I don't know when. Aloha, guys. I'd love to read your comments, but unfortunately, my eyes no longer work. I have to have someone hold the phone like 10 feet away from me, and then it's like, okay. And I refuse to wear bifocals, just like I refuse to ask for directions. All right, guys, until next time, Eric West out. Beautiful, huh? Yes, sir.